Now it's time for the Raw portion of the WWE Draft as the WWE completes shaking up its roster. Be sure to check out our part 2 of our analysis of the WWE's latest draft. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the good, the bad and the downright ugly from the 14th October 2019 edition of Monday Night Raw, as well as a recap. Raw is coming to you from Denver, Colorado, with Jerry the King Lawler, Vic Joseph and Dio Maddin calling the action. Raw opens up with Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch taking on Charlotte Flair, but the winner's brand gets to make the first draft selection. The man cuts a promo saying she was supposed to fight Sasha Banks, but Banks is still recovering from the last beatdown she gave her. Charlotte tells Lynch she's tired of fighting and wants to be friends before blindsiding her, and even before the match starts, the two get into a fierce brawl, as they obviously have some history together. But the match officially goes underway, and this one is just as good as the battles we've seen before in the past. Ultimately, the champ catches Flair off guard with a roll-up for the win, so that means again Raw gets the first selection. Charlie Caruso interviews Seth Rollins about the draft and his battle with The Fiend. Rollins says he's not proud of what he did at Hell in a Cell, but he knows what he must do now. Track down The Fiend and finish him and burn it down. Emphasis on burn it down. Financial analyst Jim Cramer discusses the various WWE superstars, describing them with the financial terms such as calling Seth Rollins a blue chip stock. Stephanie McMahon is on hand to announce the first draft picks again, and it's the same flat way that they did it on Friday Night SmackDown. But the first round results are Universal Champion Seth Rollins remaining on Raw, while Charlotte Flair, Andrade and Zelina Vega are brought over to Raw. The New Day remain on SmackDown. Booker T, Samoa Joe, Beth Phoenix and Renee Young analyze the draft. Zelina Vega then cuts a promo pointing out Andrade's presence on Raw, which means more people will have the privilege of losing to him. She also mentions the 4 horsewomen being the 4 horsefaces. We did get a chuckle out of that one. But Andrade's got his work cut out tonight as he takes on Ali. But as always with the helping hand from Zelina Vega, Andrade goes to defeat Ali with a hammerlock DDT. After that, Saturday Night Live stars Colin Jost and Michael Che discuss the draft as well as Braun Strowman, the man who brutalized them at WrestleMania 35. Yeah, good memories there. But after that, it's time for some more draft picks, with Rusev remaining on Raw, the Kabuki Warriors being drafted to Raw, and Aleister Black brought to the Red brand. SmackDown gets to keep Daniel Bryan and Bayley with more picks to come. After that, we get a Raw tag team match between champions Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler taking on the Viking Raiders. The champions have quickly gelled into a cohesive fighting unit, but the Viking Raiders' tremendous power advantage and years of experience turn the tide in this hard-fought battle. Eric and Ivar hit the Viking experience on Ziggler to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. After that, we then get some brief comments from an NHL panel discussing their take on the draft. Honestly, nothing interesting there. There's an interesting post-match promo by Eric and Ivar that includes Eric saying that they're the first team to win the Ring of Honor, IWGP, NXT, and Raw Tag Team Championships. But after that, it's time for round 3 of the draft, and Raw gets Cedric Alexander, Humberto Carrillo, and Eric Rowan, while SmackDown gets Shinsuke Nakamura and Ali. Next up is a one-on-one match with a wrestler we haven't seen for a very long time, that being Eric Young, and he takes on Aleister Black. Black starts things off strong after being drafted to Raw, annihilating Eric Young and locking in the Dragon Sleeper until Young taps out. The draft then continues with Raw getting Buddy Murphy, R-Truth and Jinder Mahal. SmackDown gets the team of Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler along with Carmella. The Street Profits discuss tonight's big contract signing between Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman before the OC show up, telling Dawkins and Ford Raw doesn't need them as the unofficial hosts because Raw already has the OC. AJ Anderson and Gallows give the Street Profits a welcome OC style as they beat them down before being sent away by WWE officials. Now you can always count on a good match from Shelton Benjamin, and Ricochet only makes it even better. Ricochet wins the bout after landing the recoil on Benjamin. Lana is shown getting a massage when Bobby Lashley takes over for the masseuse and the real fun begins. And this leads to more intimate talk from Lana and Lashley. Whew, poor Rusev. More draft action goes underway as Raw grabs Samoa Joe, Akira Tozawa, and Shelton Benjamin. SmackDown on the other hand grabs King Corbin and The Miz. But after that round, it's time for the contract signing between Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury. Both men praise one another before talking about destroying them at Crown Jewel. Strowman then breaks the table with his bare hands. Now, we are accustomed to the usual trope of a table being destroyed, but we gotta give WWE its props for doing it in a different way. After that, some hosts from the morning show today ramble on about the draft. Again, some seriously unnecessary filler. Next up, another one-on-one match as Buddy Murphy takes on Cedric Alexander. Neither man is dominating the other, but Murphy seizes the moment, landing Murphy's Law on Cedric for the win. It's then time for the final round of tonight's draft as Raw gets Rey Mysterio, Titus O'Neil, and Liv Morgan. SmackDown ends up with Chad Gable and Elias. The Street Profits figure out a plan to fight the OC, saying they're gonna enlist a mystery partner to help them. It'll probably be Braun Strowman again. He's always the mystery partner. And now it's time for the main event, as the women's tag team champions the Kabuki Warriors take on Natalya and mystery partner Lacey Evans in a non-title match. The unlikely pair of Natalya and Evans show impressive teamwork, but Asuka and Kairi Sane eventually win, with Asuka rolling up Evans. But Raw's not done just yet, as it's time for another episode of the Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt puts over Seth Rollins, but Rollins' #1 mark, Ramblin' Rabbit, warns Bray that Seth is on the way. Wyatt tells them they have nothing to fear, as he will protect them. However, the Rabbit is right, as Rollins blindsides Wyatt, laying him out and then setting the Funhouse's table on fire. A crazed Seth really did burn it down. But that was a quick recap of Raw. What about the good, the bad, and the downright ugly? Let's start off with the good as #1, Seth strikes back. Now, after weeks of looking like a frightened second grader, Seth Rollins finally took the war to Bray Wyatt's home, invading the Firefly Funhouse, laying out Wyatt and possibly burning it down for good. Now, no fan of a babyface wants to see their hero get beat up every week without some sort of payback, and tonight Rollins' fans got a hope spot, as Rollins may have found a way to get at the Fiend through Bray Wyatt. #2, an interesting direction. Looking at the number of female superstars drafted to Raw, as well as 2 matches featuring the women's division, it seems clear the WWE is turning Raw into a show that, while it doesn't focus on the women, it gives them much more airtime than SmackDown. The WWE has loaded up Raw with female talent, so it makes sense to use them to help out the 3-hour show. #3, an instant feud. With the Street Profits finally officially drafted to Raw, it makes sense for the WWE to put them into an immediate against one of the Red Brand's biggest acts, the OC, as Ford and Dawkins appear to have the talent and charisma to make a big initial impact, and it's difficult to think of better opponents. Now, if the WWE can only select a good mystery partner for the Profits, the angle will be running strong. And #4, Viking Gold. Now, we've been vocal about the WWE's incredible lack of a push for Eric and Ivar, despite the team debuting months ago and getting a number of wins. In a classic case of better late than never, it looks like the Viking Raiders have finally found a role on the main roster as the Raw Tag Team Champions. Big congratulations to the team, and good luck in staying on top of the tag ranks. But that was the good. What about the bad? As #1, a dull draft. While we've got 2 videos analysing the draft, it bears mentioning that tonight's picks were even weaker than Friday Night SmackDown's picks. There were little surprises here tonight, as champions remained on their respective brands, and SmackDown got the lion's share of established top-level performers. Overall, the draft was a complete letdown. Hopefully the only thing good that can come out of this is that the wildcard rule is said and done, and that we'll see some unlikely superstars getting a big push. #2, another build 'em and break 'em. The team of Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler seemed like an overnight sensation, going from being a hastily thrown tag team to becoming Raw Tag Team Champions. Regrettably, the talented team's only purpose seems to have been building them up so another team could destroy them. Now Ziggler and Roode are once again back at the bottom of the WWE, and their move to SmackDown offers little hope that they'll do more than serve as a team that puts other teams over. #3, match reruns. Despite a fairly deep women's roster, the WWE has spent little time building up many of its undercard performers. Thus, Becky Lynch vs Charlotte Flair seemed like the only option when Sasha Banks was unable to compete. No matter how good Lynch vs Flair matches can be, there comes a breaking point when the fans say enough is enough. With Flair on Raw now, fans can expect more matches between the two when the WWE should be using other stars against Lynch and Flair. In a recent interview, Becky Lynch said she wants to main event another Wrestlemania, but she can't main event by herself. The WWE needs to spend time elevating new female stars if it wants its women's division to continue growing. But that was the good, the bad, what about the downright ugly? As now that the draft is over, the WWE must focus on crafting some entertaining storylines for its wrestlers and long-term plans for each and every member of the WWE roster. The WWE has had its chance to shake things up, but now it's time to get to the harder things, wrestling itself. But there you have it guys, your 14th October 2019 Raw recap, as well as the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. What did you guys think of Raw? What did you guys think of the draft overall? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.